Hello, everybody, and welcome to Outside the Box, the podcast devoted to supporting Central PA small business. Today, we're talking about the 5 biggest mistakes when trying to lose weight. We should be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes when trying to go live, because I hope everybody can hear me right now because our office internet went out, and now I'm on my hotspot. So I hope everything is going to go okay today. I'm seeing our guest, Roxanne, sitting frozen there. So hopefully everybody can see better than me. But we'll get to Roxanne soon. I can't even get my my banners to change. Oh, there we go. I'm Derek Bixler, realtor and digital marketing geek right here in Central PA. I grew up on the hill. Hopefully my audio is happening faster than this is terrible. It's happening faster than the banners. Digital marketing geek, grew up on the hill, went to Mechanicsburg High School. And I don't know if we should do this, Roxanne. This is terrible. I can't even see you.
Okay. We gotta go.
Now it's a little bit better, maybe. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Now you're froze on my end.
All right. There's 4 people watching now. Watching you sit there. And I'm back. This is somebody's gonna get evil after this. So today we'll try to keep moving with this. And we'll definitely have to do this again sometime. But today on the show, I'm going to skip all my intros. We have Dr. Rox of Dr. Rox Wellness with us. We're going to be talking about, like I said, the 5 biggest mistakes when trying to lose weight. And when she starts talking, she's going to have a better connection than me. So I can just kind of shut up, let her talk, and maybe the connection will be better. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you grew up. We obviously have a little bit of a past. We both grew up on the hill in Harrisburg. I was super, I would say best friends really growing up. One of my best friends, probably your brother Joe, growing up. So I know you a little bit from back then, but give everybody a little bit of your history, where you grew up, that kind of thing.
Okay. Grew up in Harrisburg on the hill, as Derek said. I graduated from Harrisburg High School, and I was a part of their SBI program, a business program. Then I went to Messiah College because I majored in physical therapy to start, and then decided I didn't want to stay in Harrisburg and went up to New Jersey and attended Seton University. And the past 22 years, I've been in health promotion, but on different levels. And my education began to marry my passion, which is helping others live healthier and happier lives. So I am a doctorate level health psychologist. I am a certified personal trainer, a national board certified health and wellness coach, and a certified wellness practitioner. What all that means is I'm highly qualified to help people meet their health and wellness goals.
And in high school, weren't you in the band? Didn't you play an instrument?
Oh, yes, I did. But I was in the band in middle school. And then when I got into boys, I kicked the band to the curb by sophomore year.
Makes sense. I'm breaking up this whole time. This is hard to do. And you lived right across the street from McDevitt back then. Your parents don't live there anymore, right?
They still live in Bellevue Park. Yep. Still live in Bellevue Park since 1970 is when they moved there in Bellevue Park. So
awesome. And where does Joe live now?
My brother, who is your childhood best friend, he lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's been out there for 15 years.
Awesome. 15 years. Where did he live before that? Because we haven't been out of college that long, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all are in our 40s. But before that, he was in Maryland. And before that, he was at Drexel University. So he did his master's at University of Maryland. And from there, he was going out to UNLV to finish studies. And he ended up staying because the job just keeps him out there. So he stayed a lot longer.
Gotcha. Well, definitely tell him I said hi. I follow him on IG or wherever he is, but he's not very active, but
He never
I'm sure
posts.
you said he shadow watches everybody. So, hey, Joe,
Yes.
later. Hello. All right. Well, let's talk about the 5 biggest mistakes when trying to lose weight. I'd like to talk to more chit chat, but I can't hear well to interact well. So let's go into the topic.
Okay. All right. So the first one is knowing if you are ready. A lot of people say, hey, I'm going to lose weight starting next week. I'm going to cut my carbs, or they choose a certain meal plan, keto, Atkins, or they accept the challenge from a friend. Like, we're going to cut all of our processed foods. But in behavioral health, if someone hasn't established, can you hear me?
I can.
Am I good? Oh, good. Okay. If you haven't established if you're ready or not, then you're setting yourself up to fail. In health behavior, there's something called a continuum of change, behavior change continuum. There's pre-contemplation, that's denial. That's the one saying, I don't need to lose weight. I don't care what the doctor says. There's contemplation. The doctor makes a point. Maybe I can consider it. Then there's preparation. Like, you know what? I'm thinking I want to go ahead and move forward. And then there's action. There's planning, there's action, then there's maintenance, and then there's relapse. And so my job is to assess where someone is at in that stage of change, and I adjust my skills to meet them where they're at in that readiness to change. But most people start without having someone like me on their team, and they don't assess if they're ready to change. And there's quick quizzes online where you can assess if you're ready to change. So knowing if you're ready is step number 1. Number 2, having a plan and setting SMART goals. A lot of people say, I'm going on a cruise in 2 months. I want to lose 50 pounds. And you're like, well, okay. So that's not a SMART goal, because the R in SMART is realistic, and the S is being specific. So it's more about how they're going to do that. How we break that goal down into small, attainable goals, so that way you don't get set back and fall off because you're disappointed with your progress. So having a plan, and it's more than, I'm going to go to the gym this week. For my clients, I say, okay, what are you going to do at the gym? What days and times are you going to the gym? What exercises are you going to do, and for how long? Fit, frequency, intensity, and time. And what happens if the gym closes? There's a snafu. What happens if you can't go running with your friend? You told me. What's your backup plan? We call that action. We call that coping planning skills. So action planning is, this is what I'm going to do. Coping planning, if that doesn't work out, this is my plan B. And your viewers are probably like, this is too much. It sounds like a lot, but that's what I've studied. And that's what research has found goes into not only putting a plan into action to lose weight, but keeping it off. And a lot of people think that they hear that 21 days for a habit. Okay, that's gone too far. Clinical research has found health behavior changes such as that related to weight management take 90 to 120 days. 90 to 120 days. And that's because in 21 days, it's easy for life not to throw you a curveball. But in 90 to 120 days, life can throw you some curveballs. And the test is going to be if you can stay on track.
And so when you're helping people plan, and by the way, I have my real internet back, so it's going to be good.
Okay.
Thank God. They're still going to get an earful, but okay. So when you're helping people plan, do you help people have a short term and then a plan for the long term to sustain it? Because a lot of times, like you said, they got to lose a bunch of weight right away. But then once you're down to your goal weight, then you just need to maintain. Is there a different plan for maintaining?
Yes, there is. And usually when I start, I guide them through an activity to establish what their vision is. And losing weight may be why they come to me for that particular service. But when you look at the vision and you dig deep into their beliefs, their background, a lot of it is, I need to lose weight because I want to be able to play with my grandkids. I'm tired of being winded. It's more than just the physical. And so when we establish the vision, I'm able to then, when they have setbacks, also when they're maintaining, bring them back. Much like a business has that vision, a mission, anything they do, we bring them back to that so that way they can continue. So with maintenance, it's more of, okay, look at what your obstacles are going to be. What's the plan to overcome? And we all have relapsed at some point and have fallen off from some type of health behavior. And you relapse, you come back, and we start the process over again, but when we move through it.
And losing weight in fitness, we call that a cheat day, right? Or a cheat couple days. And it's all right to do that as long as you don't turn it into a week, or, if you fall off the horse for a day, make sure tomorrow you get back on.
Yes, long as your macros aren't off, because I tell people a cheat meal, and depending on what it is, because a cheat day can turn into a 4,000 calorie day. And if you're the average woman that's in central Pennsylvania, a 4,000 calorie day will set you back for that week and into the next week, depending on what you ate, because alcohol and sugar can kill you for the week in terms of what it does to the slowing down your metabolism. So
do you take that on? You keep calories from sugar more than other things? Or is it just because the concentration of calories is so high when you take in sugars?
It's because if you take in too much sugar, your body, it's going to be left in your bloodstream, and unused carbs get stored as fat. We're not hunters and gatherers anymore. Sugar goes in that category of carbs. And so we eat as if we're hunters and gatherers when we're not. So carbs are your fuel. You use your carbs accordingly. And if you're not going to be moving and sitting at a desk, you can get your carbs from other healthier sources other than a donut.
Totally. And I love how you mentioned focusing on the why. When times get tough, you need to have that thing that you think about, that this is why I'm doing it, because it's not going to be fun at the beginning. It's kind of, there's a certain excitement about doing this new thing. And then after a couple of weeks, and then you hit that 21 days where they told you it's a habit, but it's not a habit at that point. And you need to stick with it and have that why in the back of your head. So in the planning, do you talk about diet and exercise? Do you go over both of those things with everybody?
Well, I meet the client where they are and also look at their medical background and their medication. So if someone comes and the doctor, and if they've said, hey, I need to get my A1C down, then of course I'm going to not only work with them on that, but work with, if they have another team, if they have a diabetes nutrition educator, I want to be sure I'm working in line with what they want as well, or what the doctor has said to them in terms of their carbs. But we always talk about, there's several things that affect weight loss. And so I touch on each of them, but I ask the client to rate where they are in terms of readiness and where they are in terms of wanting to work on that. So there's, of course, exercise, there's diet, there's stress, there's sleep, and then there's genetics. We can't do anything about that last one. And so those 5 things all go into weight loss, because weight loss is chemical.
So how does the genetics play in? How do you ever, are there certain things that certain races or nationalities need to work on? Or do you ever run tests like 23andMe could tell you stuff? Or how does genetics, or you just say, my parents were big boned, so I'm probably going to be big boned, so that's how I am. How do the genetics, and how do you figure out how that plays in?
I'll ask them the background, and something, because I have to establish if it's genetics or if it's the culture or what their parents made to eat, or grandparents. Because if grandma's macaroni and cheese has 7 cheeses in it, you can't say, oh, my grandmother had, high cholesterol. And it's like, wait a minute, that's because of the macaroni and cheese, not because of her behavior. So I do a family tree with them. And the family tree, though, includes behaviors. Did grandma or grandpa smoke? Because that might have been the reason they had heart disease. And so in identifying the behaviors, it also lessens some of the labels individuals have put on themselves, like, well, everyone in my family had diabetes, so I'm going to have it. And they kind of give in to that. And instead, when we look at, okay, this is the hand you were dealt, let's decide how we're going to play it. Almost like a card game. Like, okay, yes, you can't eat. Yes, your best friend has the skinny gene, as people call it, and she can eat whatever she wants. It's going to catch up to her. But not only that, I found with some individuals that may appear to be healthy and lean, that when I put them on my scale, bioelectrical impedance scale, their visceral fat, the fat around the organs may be high, not the subcutaneous fat that you can pinch. And those are the people that I call them the sneaky diabetics, where they look like they're fit, but they're actually have diabetes, heart disease, and all of these other things. So.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that if you get really sick, it's better to be a little bit overweight. You don't want to be obese, obviously, but people fare when you hit like cancer or something. It's better because I wouldn't have any weight to lose. I'd be like nothing right away. So I've heard that people with a little bit of extra weight, or muscle at least, maybe would help a little bit. So in the planning, there's it seems to be a lot of identification and assessment along with the planning, so you know how to plan and know what to do. So after you commit to doing it and know why you're doing it and know that you want to do it, and then you plan it out. What's the third step?
The third step is identifying their support and who
Or
they
the
will
third biggest mistake, sorry.
Yes, what their support and accountability system will be. For clients that are working with me ongoing, I serve as that main support, but I can't be there every day. Now with them, oftentimes I have clients, I text them morning, noon, and night, depending on the level of how intensely they want me to be in their business with what they're doing, especially holding their hand during those first 2 weeks until they begin to build their confidence from their successes. Others, they go, you know what? They fare better if they don't tell anyone they're working on losing weight, because then you may have that coworker or spouse that goes, should you be eating that? Should you be eating that? And so we identify who can be a support, who do we avoid telling, and who can hold you accountable. Because when you don't have that, research has found that you often fail if you're not accountable to someone.
Yeah, because you don't want people in your business that you don't want in your business and butting in where you don't want them butting in, but also you got to speak it out into the universe so other people are going to, you've said it now, you better go and do it. Sometimes I just say something because I want to do it. And if I tell somebody or a certain person that I'm going to do it, then I better damn well at least try to do it. So that works great.
And then how you want them to hold you accountable. So that way they don't think it means I'm telling you what to eat. You can say, you know what? Can you check in on me on these days I plan to go to the gym? So you set the boundaries of where they can be a support, and you ask them, ask them first, can you support me and then support me in these ways? And that's the best way. Not, hey friend, I'm losing weight, hold me accountable. No, because that could really be detrimental to their progress, depending on the friend isn't trained to do it. So depending on what you've asked them to do. Detrimental or
and a lot of people that aren't trained will end up kind of ridiculing you or doing it in a negative way rather than a motivating and a positive way. And people like you are trained and know how to do that the right way. So how do you help people from the level of texting multiple times a day and the level of attention that people need? How do you decide that? Do people pay a different amount? I mean, obviously, if you're giving more attention to somebody, maybe they need to pay a little bit more money.
Well, they all start out at the same package level based on the readiness. The texting support, they automatically get 3 to 5 text messages motivating, and then they get unlimited support from me. So meaning, if you're at the grocery store, Rox, I have a question about this, or hey, I'm having a bad day, can you give me some words of encouragement? They can text me at any time. And so that doesn't vary from one person to another. I found that over the years, I never have a full roster of people that need me every day, all the time. But once again, I meet them where they're at in terms of their stage of readiness, and I identify where their weaknesses are. And so that's what I focus on pulling out of them, pulling out their strengths that they've already identified, and using those strengths that they've identified that they've used in the past, maybe at work or in life circumstances. And I remind them of those strengths to apply them to challenges they're facing with their weight loss journey.
And I'm guessing the accountability and text per day and all that kind of stuff kind of starts really high at the beginning to get them motivated and teach them the things too. You need to be teaching them all these things that they haven't known before. So the accountability part is probably huge at the beginning and during that, not 21 days, 90
Absolutely.
days, we're thinking, right?
Yeah, we talk on the phone either once per week or twice per week as needed, because some of the phone calls may be 20 minutes. You know, we talk about your goals, review how you're doing. We look at the current week coming up. What are the obstacles? Create a new game plan. Talk about any things that you didn't do so well on, how confident you are, and we move forward. Then others, they may not want to talk about how that week went, and something else may come to surface that we need to address. And so that's once again meeting the client where they're at and moving at the pace at which they're ready to move. That brings the best outcome.
And what about group accountability? Do you have any kind of group that hold each other accountable? Facebook group? I'm assuming you do. And then also I'll add that group accountability could be just joining a spin class that you go to on a regular basis. And then people are going to ask, why aren't you at the spin class? Why aren't you at the spin class? So just being out there with other people when you're working out or doing your activities can be a form of accountability. But tell us a little bit about how you have group accountability.
Well, I have, because with the pandemic came, I was already partly virtual with online workouts and partly in person. But when we had to go entirely virtual, I was able to establish and reach out and get more clients across the country. And so we use a chat group where we post recipes, I do challenges. They're able to support one another. And that's another thing. And the reason I added the group support, and this is a part of the line of business called Fine Body Boot Camp. And Fine is more about, it's fit. Oh my goodness, I just drew a blank. That's terrible. Oh my goodness.
We'll just segue into the
what we do.
Segue into the fourth biggest mistake after you speak it into existence and you get some accountability from your friends or from a group.
Got it. Fit, invigorated, nourished, and empowered. And when I used to do the boot camps, I didn't look at all 4 factors. But once I finished my doctorate looked at weight loss in women. So when I tell women I'm an expert at help you losing weight, I go look up the dissertation. Like that's what I did the dissertation on. And so I realized I can't just have them coming to see me to work out. Yes, I apply a coaching philosophy, but on top of it all, I use research to support what I'm doing. And research has found that when you have that group component, everyone is more successful. And that's what I found. Everyone is highly successful in their weight loss journey and in maintaining. But we found that when they leave the group and they hit a road bump, they don't have that support and they fall off too much and they come back and go, Dr. Rox, I need back, I'm falling off. So you do in the maintenance phase still need a level of support, but you don't have to pay a high fee to have that support if you don't have it in your immediate circle.
Yeah. And I'm sure if people fall off for a long time, then you start kind of feeling bad and don't want to go back because you don't want to go back. Yeah. But all your people probably have you calling them and texting them and saying, hey, what happened to you? You need to get back on the horse and what's going on.
On social media, and I send little messages with the eyes and say, I see you. I miss you. I'm ready when you are. Depending
I saw you out the club eating cake and having champagne and stuff. You better get back in the gym.
Their fitness classes and everything. So yeah, I use all kind of strategies to keep it fun and keep them on track.
Nice. So what's the next biggest mistake that people need to watch out for?
The fourth one is when you do fall off track, don't beat yourself up. So that's like the shirt I have on. Snackcidents happen. They happen.
Did you pen that, or is that you just found that shirt?
No. I found this shirt. It's a thing. I love Etsy and all the little shirts. So anytime I see them, I buy them up for podcasts like this, or for when I do a workshop. They get the message even when I'm not speaking. So snackcidents happen. Accidents happen when you fall off. Even if you fall off for whether it's 1 week, whether it's a month, life can get in the way. And when people begin to beat themselves up and have that negative self-talk, it's even more sabotaging to the progress, because then they wait, and that stress not only increases cortisol, but there's 1,399 other chemicals that are released when you're stressed. Weight loss is chemical. So when you're stressing about the fact that you fell off track, I've now gained weight, I'm scared to go back, now I'm diagnosed with, high cholesterol, all of that spins out of control. Instead of saying, okay, I fell off track. It happens. Snackcidents happen. Fall-offs happen. You just go, it's almost like, what's the saying about spilled milk? It's not that you spilled the milk, it's how you clean it up. So as we told our kids, people that have kids, dust your knees, get up, it's over, you're fine, put a Band-Aid on it. The same thing applies when you're along your weight loss or fitness journey. And if you don't fall off, I'm concerned, because when people go through and coast through a program and nothing gets in the way, and the girls always laugh when I say this, I say, I want you to have a setback while you're with me, because then I can help you navigate that setback. So when it happens, when you leave me, you'll know what to do.
And that's how it's not in not falling. It's how you get up and how many times you can get up and fail. You're learning from it, and not moving forward without getting something out of the thing you just messed up with. So do you help people like with their morning routines, or that's when most people do their gratitude journals and all that kind of stuff? But do you help people with that kind of thing, their morning routines, gratitude journals, being thankful and mindful and that kind of thing?
Gratitude plays a big part. I always, in our field, we always ask for permission when we want to give advice. We try not to put on that expert hat, but think of ourselves as guides by the side, and just believe that the person we're working with has everything within them to succeed. We're just reminding them of what it is and helping them target that. And then we do have to give some education and advice, but we never want to go, this is what you should eat and this is what you should do, because then they feel like they can't do it without you, and they feel like a child. So if they say, you know what, or we identify you need a routine for the morning, or if I notice they're stressed, I always recommend meditation. Gratitude is a question I always ask them, especially if they're spinning out of control. I go, let's bring it back. And I may guide them, do a guided imagery type meditation, or I'll ask them something quick with gratitude. Give me 3 things you're grateful for. We even do it on our fitness boot camps virtually during the holiday season. When people are stressed financially, and it's like, okay, at the end of our workout, everyone type in the chat 1 thing you're grateful for, no matter how small. So, yes.
Yeah. And I would just start. Are you on Clubhouse?
I am. I haven't been as active.
Yeah. So I go in a realtor morning and a realtor room every morning. Basically, it's numbers, gratitude and intentions. And you go in there and say this thing. And I've always kind of do it. And I do meditation and things and have a pretty good morning routine. But I've never done it in a group setting where you're saying it out loud to other people. And I'm addicted to it every day now. And even if you don't share, you hear everybody else, and you hear, sometimes you hear people that are worse off than you, which makes you feel better in a weird, twisted kind of way. Or you at least share, or somebody that's going through the same thing, or somebody that's, everybody's really positive, and that kind of brings you up when you're in a down state. So getting in a group setting and saying it out loud, I think, is a great thing to do, like you mentioned. So once you're good at not killing yourself or not beating yourself up and being able to maybe fall off the horse and then get back on, what's the next biggest hurdle?
The next biggest hurdle, and you touched on it earlier, is the biggest thing is they make it hard to keep it off. And this goes back to how they started. Because if you did some type of, and not knocking any of the plans, it's just if your friend went on keto and lost 20 pounds in the first month, it doesn't mean you will. It doesn't
Don't
mean
get me started on that. Diet.
So whatever it is, I tell them when they go, what diet? I go, like, for example, if I was working with myself, it's going to be the Roxan plan. Now, does the Roxan have components of keto with low carb? Does Roxanne's plan have components of carb cycling or intermittent fasting? It likely will, because carbs are fuel. Unused carbs get stored as fat. And that's one of the big issues with weight loss and moving. So a lot of times I tell people, I say, we're going to make this your plan, because if you do someone else's and you lose the weight too quickly, you may not be able to, and likely won't be able to maintain it. And then you have something called a weight set point. So when you yo-yo enough with dieting, science has found there's something called a weight set point. And I get many of these women in my group where they go, oh yeah, I did, I won't name any businesses, but some of the popular ones that have commercials. I've done this, can't keep it off. We have to find what works for them in that moment in time, within their lifestyle, within their culture, and within what they believe. But also with that, they have to buy into it. It can't be, you gave me this plan and this is what works. Okay, you want to explore keto? Let's take it and let's talk about it. So it has to be something crafted for them that will work afterwards. And so that's why I teach them how to count their macros. I teach them the importance that carbs are not bad, but if you eat too many of them, they can be. Same thing with fat. With anything that we do, if it's in excess, then it's not healthy for us. So it's about teaching them so they can do it without me. Other ones, they go by a plan and they're in this group, and then you can't do keto for life, because then I'm going to see your visceral fat numbers going up and your LDL, your HDL, your triglycerides.
I was going to say, then you're that skinny diabetic dude.
Yeah.
Or woman.
Yeah. And that's not maintainable. It never was meant to be. But when you think about behavior change, as a health psychologist, when I look at these things, I go, oh my gosh, they're going to crash. And when they yo-yo and they come to me and they're at that weight set point, that's when I go into my toolbox of tips and tricks to break it. Because they'll go, I'm not losing weight, I'm doing everything right. And that's when I go, those years of yo-yo dieting, we have to try a few different things to break that weight set point. And it is very challenging. Most women in their 40s, 50s will find that they've hit a weight set point, even if they started a new plan.
Is the set point kind of like there's a barrier that they can't get below? Or are you talking about how when people yo-yo, they're this weight, they lose, but then they gain a little bit more. So then their set weight goes up, and then they do another and they go down, but then they come up a little bit higher than they were again. So this set point keeps rising. Are you talking about that? Or are you talking about a barrier that people can't get below sometimes?
No, the latter of what you talked about. And it's more about, the best way I explain it when I'm speaking to clients, I like to make it seem real. And I say, your body has said, I'm tired of your mess. with playing games with me. So your body is sitting back like this going, okay, she's doing another diet. Do, 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 do. And it's waiting, and it's like, she's not going to stick with this. She's not going to hang around. And then you get to that point, and your body's like, your body has gotten used to that. So it thinks that's what's normal. And it thinks that you going below that is not healthy because you convinced your body that this is it. And so we use different tips and different tricks to nutrition wise and exercise wise to break the point. And then the body goes, oh, you want to lose more? Okay, I'm down with you. Let's go.
So again, like anything else, it comes down to consistency. When you hit that wall, you can't just stop. You got to keep trying and even people in really good shape hit some kind of wall. That means you can't keep doing the same exercises you do every day. Maybe you need to switch it up and do something else if you want to get the gains, as all the kids are using the word gains a lot these days.
And just challenging yourself to do something different. It's like you can take a bodybuilder and you put them in a spin class or do something fitness wise, and they're like, boy, I'm really out of breath, especially if they don't do much cardio. So that's an example of where it's good to always keep your workouts mixed up.
Yeah, see that all the time at the climbing gym. The big, huge dudes that come in, they're back. They could probably do 300 pounds in rows, and then they can't even climb a wall to save their life. Because it's something different. It's not because they're weak. It's just something different.
So you can't focus on one. You can't focus on one thing. Just like with weight loss, it's not just about exercise or not just about how you eat. It's the same thing with fitness. It's not just about endurance. It's not just about strength. What's your flexibility like? How flexible are you? Because all those things become especially important as we get older.
Yeah. So number 5 is a lot about sustainability, kind of, and keeping it on. And now I forgot where I was going to go with that. Setting yourself up for success. Do you help people set themselves up for success as far as, getting food out of their house and making sure it's easy for them to go to the gym and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, I call it the Jillian Michaels, back with Biggest Loser. Jillian Michaels would go into their cabinets. Now, I always ask because everyone wants a different approach. And so I customize my approach to fit their personality. And then oftentimes I say, can I turn my hat to the back? If you've been with me long enough, it's time to turn my hat to the back and tell it to you like it is. So yes, I help them. Some invite me in the home. Others will do by video. And I don't just throw it out, but I tell them why. And then I want them to continue, because I want them to learn. The biggest thing, once you learn something, you always have it. Even if you gain back the weight, you have that knowledge and you'll know what to do. Then I have people just coming back saying, I just need accountability. I know what to do. I'm able to put it in action, but you'll always have that. And so that's a very important part to me, is having the client be engaged in the process. When other clients come in, they just say, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. And I go, that's not me, because this is a behavior change. And behavior change is what's sustainable and what takes time. Even when you fall off, research has found that they don't fall off as long because it became a lifestyle change. Unless something traumatic happened to kind of knock them off, then it's more sustainable than a quick diet you done for two months before a wedding.
Right. So can you kind of tell at the beginning sometimes with some people? So I would assume that a person that would come in and say, tell me what to do, I'll do it. That's the person that's not going to stay with it because they want some quick fix. Tell me some pill that I could take or whatever. Just tell me what to do, I'll do it. And then I want the results, but they don't really want to deep dive. They don't want to think about the mental aspect. They don't want to think about any of it. Can you tell at the beginning who's going to stick with it and who's not?
Absolutely. Well, when I explain, I have a free consultation we'll do for 15 minutes. So I can see, will this be a good relationship? Because they're committing to me. I'm committing to them. I tell them what I can offer. I ask them what they're willing to do and assess their readiness. And even if they're in the stage of denial, for some of them where the doctors send them to me, they go, I'm just here. Doctor said I have to. That's a different set of skills I use for someone in the pre-contemplation stages in denial. So we're not even talking about fitness or this. I'm talking about something entirely different. I'm trying to pull out their values, their beliefs, to get them to persuade themselves. I don't persuade them. The goal is to get them to persuade themselves that they need to change. But there are some people that come and say, hey, Rox, I'm fit. I need to lose 10 pounds. Can you help me a little bit? So then that's where I customize and I call it a remix of one of the packaging programs and go down, this is all you need. I'll send it to you. What do you think? And then I customize a price because they don't need as much hand holding.
So most stuff is tailored per the person. And mostly women, men too? Do you have any men clients?
Mostly women. I would get men that would come to our classes. The problem when the men come is they think that it's a girly boot camp. And then when they see us doing the same stuff they do, they go, I think the ego gets in the way because it's usually a room full of women. And they'll say, oh man, my back, I was on the roof this weekend, and they put these excuses. So we laugh about it. So I would say in my, oh goodness, the 10 years of the boot camps, at least, I've been working with 99.9% women, but in the health coaching, because employer groups hire me as well. Although I would say it's about a 80-20 split, because the men come to me because they say, I want to get rid of this belly, or they want to quit smoking, or they want to manage their stress, or they're like, hey, the doc said I have diabetes. I'm only 40. What's he talking about? They're in denial. And so they know that they have a health coach on site that the company pays for. And so I'm able to help them. So in terms of the health coaching aspect, I do work with men and women, but the in-class fitness boot camps, the men a lot of times don't come out.
So we started to talk about the services, which is a great segue because that's what I was going to go into now.
Okay.
So you mentioned some health coaching, some health camps, boot camps.
Yeah.
What other services do you offer?
The other thing are the Dr. Rox teas. And the teas really came about. My daughter was a gym.
Nice. I love visual aids.
Oh, yes. So trying to get the angle right on here. Okay. Dr. Rox Wellness teas. And the crazy part is I never was a tea drinker. People that know me go, you started a tea line? You don't even I don't like hot beverages. However, when my daughter was going through a traumatic time, diagnosed with a rare condition, and then I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I didn't want to do the traditional medications. Some were toxic, like methotrexate, things like that. So when I began researching herbs, I'm like, wow, I may be taking all of these different pills when actually, if I combine them into a tea, guess what? It goes down a lot easier. And so I did my research and then worked with an herbalist. I said, this is what I want in this tea. This is what I want to do. And I looked at what clients came to me most for. And then we ran focus groups. Told you, big on research. So once everything was blended, ran focus groups. So like I don't have this one. There's a Soothe My Body tea. And the Soothe My Body, I was motivated by my RA with the joint pain. So I had people in the focus group with RA, people with lupus, people that would use it after a workout and the muscles are sore, because I wanted to know that it worked. I needed to know if I put my name on it, does it work and does it taste good? So some of the teas did not come to fruition because there was no way we could make it taste good, but 8 of them did. And the 2 most popular teas are the Rescue Me. The Rescue Me because of weight loss. Rescue Me has 3 ingredients. It's pu'er tea leaf. A lot of people have never heard of the pu'er tea leaf. They call it the skinny growth of the teas. Lemongrass, lemon verbena. Now, what people don't know, clinical research, once again, and this was governmental research that was done that I found. They did a research study using the pu'er tea leaf to help reduce the lipid levels, cholesterol levels, in a group of people. One of the things they found, these people did not exercise, but in drinking the pu'er tea, they lost an average of 2 pounds per week. I don't like to tell people that to just get the tea to lose weight, but it also found that over time, drinking 1 to 2 cups a day, it began to not only stop the process of lipogenesis, but burn the stored fat. So the Rescue Me tea helps with diabetes. It's the Rescue Me, meaning it rescues everything, but this is our go-to weight loss tea. Second thing, because this is like my favorite tea because it's just so amazing. The research found if you drink the tea at the 1 hour mark after you've eaten like some buffalo wings, high pasta or carb meal, it reduces the bloat, stops that blood sugar spike, and reduces the fat absorption. So for me, this was like, why is no one else selling this tea? Does no one else look at the research? So it's 3 simple ingredients that I hear no one else talking about. You can't find it on grocery store shelves. No one else talks about pu'er tea. Now, the other ones are similar to some, but I do use fresh herbs, not the bottom of the leaf. That's the younger leaf. It has more fluoride in it, and they come in loose leaf or bagged. Menopause is my 2nd most popular tea.
Menopause?
Surprise, menopause.
Oh, not menopause. Menopause.
Yeah, menopause. The other one during the pandemic was the immunity tea. As people were watching things on TV, I realized, wait a minute, all of my ingredients are the same natural things they're telling them. So that was the other one. But we have 8 total different tea blends, but as related to today, The Rescue Me tea does just that. As you see from the picture, it's like that's her subconscious, like she's eating pizza and she's like, no, don't do it.
So these are actually all formulated by you, tested by you, tasted by you. So they also taste good and work.
In Florida, that puts everything together because, of course, I can't do that in my home. And I did use an herbalist to make sure everything was safe and blended well. And they do quite well because they work and they taste good. So.
Yeah, and it's not just some stuff because some people sell supplements. Selling supplements is a big thing right now, but most people are just pulling some private label or some that might not even have what they say is in it, and they put a label on it and go sell it. But you actually formulated it, you sourced it yourself, and you did all the research, and that's pretty awesome. How many flavors did you say?
8 different ones. We have Rescue Me, which is more of the weight loss tea, but that can work for heart disease, diabetes, you name it, and weight loss, the waistline, menopause. The immunity tea for immune system, detox tea, which is not a detox that's going to put you in the bathroom, but this detoxes your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is your body's sewer system. So yes, you will be peeing a lot. Then there's an energy tea. I recommend that for my coffee drinkers because coffee is acidic. A lot of cancers and different negative things come from your body being high in acid levels. So I say replace it with the energized tea because tea is alkaline. It gives them a boost and it helps to curb their appetite. And then there's a soothe my body tea for aches and pains and a sleepy time tea. Helps you sleep.
So is the energized one the only one that has caffeine in it, or some of the others have caffeine as well?
If they have caffeine, it's listed and it's natural. It's natural caffeine. It's the caffeine from the leaf. It has like green tea in it or something, but nothing has been added.
Gotcha. And then any other products that you have?
That's it for now. The CBD line is still kind of, I source someone else because when you're dealing with CBD, I don't have a farm. And so the one thing
that's a big undertaking.
Yeah. So
a lot of regulations too, I would guess.
Since people recognize the name and they know, people that know me know how much I research, I did identify a brand I'm representing and have a site for the CBD gummies. And I pick the items, I use them first. And then those are the ones I choose to sell on the website. But since we're on the topic, I want to tell your viewers, if you're buying your CBD from Sheets, stop. You want full spectrum CBD. And if you can get it from someone that's knowledgeable, can answer your questions, or from a dispensary, that's the way you want to go right now while we don't have a lot of regulation around CBD hemp-based products, not THC.
So you don't want to buy it from that display case at Rutter's right by the, with its new every day with some kind of weird gummy or chewable or
Yes, don't buy it when you're checking out. Like if it's right there, you're checking out. No.
You don't want to buy your medication as an impulse item. That's weird.
No, your CBD should have a batch number on it, on the back, believe it or not. And that batch number has a test analysis. So if something goes wrong, they can trace it back. So it gets very kind of, it's more medicinal than people realize, but it's just not regulated the way it should just yet.
Okay. That makes sense. And then any other services? You mentioned boot camps. You have the ongoing kind of coaching. Do you have a group coaching, like a membership group?
Not the group. I start with individual coaching packages. So I have like a self-discovery session, and that's where people go, okay, I can't do the ongoing, but I can do a 2-week intensive deep dive. There's a deep dive. The discovery session is, okay, tell me what's going on with me, and then I'll take it from there. Then there's the health coaching packages, which I make people commit to for 3 months. Why? Because the research finds that 90 to 120 days, you will see more of a lifestyle change. My expertise lies in weight management, stress management, and disease management. And then we have the fitness boot camps. So it's tea, CBD, fitness, health coaching, all under the umbrella of keeping you healthy and happy.
That's awesome. And what can people expect when I'm all over your IG, and your IG is sick. If anybody, we'll have it up in the thing when we put it up, but very good on the IG. So I've seen a bunch of your workouts. Maybe tell everybody maybe your 3 favorite or most impactful or workout exercises that might make the most difference, or is it a lunge? Or I know you do a lot of lunge stuff.
A lot of compound movements. Well, as we've aged, my average age in my group is 40. The oldest is 67, and she's in kick-ass shape to be 67. So a lot of our knees start to go. So I always give modifications. So I'm not as into squats and lunges as I used to be, as my joints have begun to get achy. But I would say any exercise that's a compound movement. So if you're going to do a squat, add some dumbbells. And when you do the squat, come up into a shoulder press. So you're working more than one body part. Do cardio in between. So if you're someone that works out in the gym and you're doing sets in between, instead of just pacing in between each set, choose if you want to do a cardio move or an ab move and do that. 50 jumping jacks real quick, next set. And you keep your heart rate up and you keep the burn going. The other thing I'm trying to think, what's my best? I love burpees. Burpees, people hate burpees, but burpees, it's something about me feeling like I'm going to pass out and die that I love.
Well, there's a reason everybody does burpees, and it's part of like every workout routine everywhere. It's because it's working. It's working every body part. And like you said, it's not the old way of lifting. It's how I used to lift. We go, and it's chest and tries day, and I'll sit down, you pound 3, you do a set, and then you sit there.
Yes.
And then you do a set 5 minutes later, and then you sit there, and then you do another set, and now we'll go do tries. But obviously that doesn't give you the burn, number one, of calories, but also your workout's going to be longer too, right? You can pound it out faster.
Yeah, you get done faster, you burn a lot more. And another thing on that, get an awesome playlist. Research has found that if you have an amazing playlist, you actually will work 30% harder than you normally will. So what's on your playlist? Yeah, my playlist has a little bit of everything. So I'm a hip hop R&B club. It's all about the beat for me. Sometimes it's about the words. Like there's a song, win. Forget everything else, focus on winning. So a lot of times it's about the words, the beat, because I'm taking that song, I noticed, and they will work harder. They're going to the beat with some of the exercises. A good baseline. But some people listen to motivational speakers while they work out. I'm not there yet. I need something cranking in my ear to keep me going. So whatever works for you, use that to fuel your workouts.
Yeah, and I do the same thing. I don't listen to much music anymore. I'm more about podcasts or audiobooks or whatever. But when I'm working out, I like dubstep now. I'm hip hop also. I like some hard hitting, some Lil Jon or something like that. But I also like some dubstep will really make me go crazy. Yeah, hell yeah. And you can't. I mean, how are you gonna work out to? I mean, I guess you could work out to classical or something. But like, I'm trying to think of something that's really.
R&B. My boyfriend works out to R&B music. I don't know.
Like love songs?
I'm like, yes. Now he does like old school hip hop. So he listens to that, but he can go just as hard with strength training with R&B music. And I go, no, my playlist. Go.
Well, you don't want to work out to Jodeci Lately. I like the song, but it's not getting me hyped up. It's going to make me cry, probably.
And I tell my participants to send me recommendations because I want what's going to motivate them and keep them going. And so I try to choose songs also that they know. So when we're doing something, they forget about it because they're singing the song. Much like with you, if you're listening to a podcast and you're really in tune with it, you kind of lose track of time and you get through the workout, it feels like it's faster. It doesn't feel like, oh, when is this going to be over? Especially for someone that's first starting out. The playlist is key. Totally.
And what are your favorite things to eat?
Oh, so everyone thinks that when you're in health, you eat healthy. I'm not that girl. When I've had trainers working for me, they got the skinny girl gene, but I'm the one that eats a cookie and I go, I'm up 5 pounds and I'm only 5 foot, so I can't afford 5 pounds. But my favorite things to eat, let's go healthy and unhealthy. Okay. Unhealthy. Okay. I am a doughy girl, like cookies, apple pie with a lot of dough, anything I can put in the microwave. And then I have a glass of almond milk because I don't like the regular milk. So, and it has to have ice in it. So apple pie, cookies, not so much candy. So that's in terms, and French fries with a Wendy's Frosty. It's over. Haven't done that in a while because I know I don't eat it responsibly. So I always, as I'll tell your viewers, as I tell my ladies, if you can't eat it responsibly, don't keep it in your house. But if you get up in the middle of the night and get in the car and drive the sheets to get it, you must have really deserved
Right, exactly. I mean, sometimes it is to the extent of like an alcoholic where you just can't have it around and it's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
If you have one beer, it's going to turn into
yeah.
drinking vodka all day. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a slippery slope for some people. So what's something healthy on the other
So
side?
healthy. I love, let me think here. I use spinach in a lot of things because spinach, what people don't get, yes, it's green, but it's tasteless. So whatever you put it in, it's going to absorb that flavor. So spinach, I love. It's a good way to add when you make an omelet. I love red, yellow, and orange peppers. They have 300% more vitamin C than, I forget, is it an orange? I forget what the number is. But so I love being able to throw peppers in things, spinach in different things, sweet potatoes. If you're a potato person, I used to love a white potato. A sweet potato is a good substitute because it's not high on what we call the glycemic index, meaning it won't spike your blood sugar levels. And let me see, what else?
And they
Quinoa.
come in fry form, so it's easy to make. The sweet potato fries, you can't even cheat out. Just pick
Yes,
up the different bag and then cut back a little bit on the sauces that you dip them in.
there you go. The condiments can get you every time, just like the soft drink.
That's all fries. A lot of that stuff, well, fries are good on their own, but like a lot of stuff is just a conduit to eat all the crap you put onto it.
Like a salad, and then the dressing is like, I'm having a salad, Rox. And I'm like, I don't see the lettuce. I don't see anything. And it's
And you're
coated
using iceberg lettuce.
in
At least use the spinach, like you said, so you're getting some nutrients. It doesn't
spinach,
taste weird.
romaine. Yeah, romaine has more fiber, but the spinach is even better. Arugula. And if you're picking
Kale, although kale tastes weird sometimes.
yeah, I love kale though. Kale, if you cook it right, if you add shallots to it, if I'm big on Pinterest. So meaning if you go on Pinterest, when people go, I don't know what to make, go on Pinterest and create your own electronic board of different recipes and title the boards different things like kale recipes or your low carb recipes or things like that. And that way, when you go, I want to try some kale, look at what others have tried and see what the ratings are on it. And then you decide if you want to give it a try. So
Yeah.
it
And
can be
then again, ties in with the setting yourself up for success. And also you can get a lot of ideas. And if you spend your time focusing on that stuff rather than looking up other waste of time stuff, switch your
yeah,
time from scrolling social media to looking at food porn, for lack of a better term, vegetarian food porn
yes,
instead, and start
yes.
making walls for that and set yourself up for success. I think that's a great idea. We're at 9 minutes, so we got to switch out. Is there anything you want to add before we go into our random funny question here?
No, I think that's it. I will say this. During the pandemic, many people put their health on the shelf. And so whether we're in a pandemic or not, when you go through tough
It's a
times,
t-shirt. Don't put your health on the shelf.
so whether it's tough times, the first thing we think to do, because we consider health as a luxury, especially women do, don't go up. This is what's going on. So and so has passed away. Let me take my health. I'm going to put it over here for now. It's the worst thing you can do. If anything, modify what you're doing and be more mindful, but don't put your health on the shelf for anyone or anything.
You got to make time for yourself no matter what.
Yes.
And if you fall off the horse, like we talked about, get back on. Don't let that one day or one meal turn into 6 meals or a month or
That's
2
it.
months. Got to get back on that horse and call Dr. Rox if you need help with it.
Yes,
So
yes.
now, and we'll put her information so you guys can all reach out to her in a minute after we do our funny question here.
Okay.
So I just literally Google funny questions. There's 81 questions on this list. So pick a number between 1 and 81.
1 and 81, 76.
76. All right. What is the most interesting place you've ever been to?
The most interesting place, just as I begin to want to travel more in my life, the most interesting place I've ever been.
Or want to go to. That would be a good question. Mine would be New Zealand. That's my why, is to take all my kids to New Zealand for like a month.
My brother went there for 2 weeks and then worked his way up through Australia. And then he uploaded all the photos to Facebook. That's the one time he was on when I'm like, you don't do that on Facebook. You don't take them all. But I've always wanted to go somewhere. HGTV has that show, House Hunters International. And I get kind of obsessed with the show, with looking at different locations where one day I would like to live. I can't give a specific location, but I would like to go where.
Do you like tropical or like woods, mountains?
I like tropical, but tropical where I can come into town and ride on a bicycle and get some fruit and have the beach, but have a very luxurious tree house that sits here where there's fruit hanging down. So, it's a mix, but I know that they're out there because I've seen them on HGTV.
Yeah, it sounds like Jamaica or some kind of island but close to a kind of a major city where you can go and get some culture and hang out.
And hang out and not be with the tourists, be so touristy. But then when I go back, I want the place to feel like I'm in a Ritz-Carlton.
Puerto Rico, I hear Puerto Rico is the bomb right now on the tax. If you live there 6 months out of the year, you're a resident and the taxes are like zero or something.
I was there maybe 5 years ago. My 40th birthday, I went to Puerto Rico, but that was when the what was the virus that was going around through mosquitoes? The Zika virus, I think it was. Yes. So.
Yeah, that place is awesome. They have the longest zip line in the universe, they call it. And it is. If you watched my YouTube video, you would think that I looped it and it was fake. You get bored watching this zip line from first person.
Oh, I think that's so excited. Okay.
Yeah, if you go there, you got to do it.
Next place.
So here we'll bring up Dr. Rox's info and read it out loud for everybody. So if they're listening later on an audio platform, they can get your info.
Okay, so my email is info at mydrrox.com. My meaning M-Y, like I belong to you. When you hire me, I'm yours. You feel personalized. It feels personalized. My website, mydrrox.com. mydrrox.com. And my Instagram, same thing, my Dr. Rox.
I guess we could point that out. I didn't even think about that this whole time that Rox is ROX from Roxanne, not ROCKS for anybody listening. Yes. So anytime we said my Dr. Rox or Rox or anything, it's ROX, not ROCKS. Yes, and I'll leave all that. And I'll leave all that information up for everybody to see. And I have a little bit of time. I missed my intro, so I'm going to do my outro really slowly. I'm kidding. I forgot your special offer. Let's plug that before we move on.
So if you go onto the website and you decide to bring me on, or you want to do a consult, and then you decide to purchase a health coaching package, you will get 10% off. Your code is agent Derek. And of course, that's something you would tell me during your free 15 to 20 minute consultation. You would give me that promo code, and then I would adjust the pricing accordingly.
And if anybody wants to take advantage of that, obviously you can reach out to Dr. Rox, and then we'll also include that in our weekly email that goes out to everybody under the exclusive special offers. So you can get it there. And I usually leave it in that email for like 30 days or so for people to hit up there. A couple announcements before we go out. If you're interested in a business spotlight package, which consists of Greg coming to your business, showing behind the scenes kind of how the sausage is made. You saw him at Dexterity Depot, the Ninja Warriors place, trying the warped wall. He made it up the medium one, not the top one, which I made it up, but he did make it up the medium one. If you want one of those, and then an interview like you're seeing with me here with Roxanne, and then a networking mixer at your business, COVID and your business permitting, you can reach out to us or go to supportcentralpa.com to apply for one. I can tell you that the networking mixers and a true business spotlight with all three is booked out for a while, but if you want to do an episode with me, just reach out. I'll shoot you a link and we can hook up just like me and Rox did here. If you want access to our exclusive special offers, join our email list. It's one email a week. This week's is late. It's Wednesday. I didn't send it yet. I usually send it on Monday. So it is me drafting them. It's not spammy. It just gives you all the stuff that's happening in the group. And if you're watching this anywhere, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere other than Facebook, please head over to Facebook and join our Facebook group, Central PA Support Small Business. Lots of good stuff happening in there. I actually have a home seller client, and he posted in some other group trying to find a painter, and he just got a bunch of foreign people and people that weren't real kind of answering his thing. And I said, you got to post in ours. You post in ours, you get real people, real painters, real actual stuff. There's no, fake bots in our group. There's none of that stuff. You can really, really get good business ideas out of there for vendors, or if you're a business, you can get business out of there. So head over there and join it. I got about 40 seconds here left. Follow me. I'm at Agent Derek on Clubhouse. Contact me if you need to buy or sell a house. Inventory is super low. Please reach out to me. Prices are sky high, really good for sellers. Text me, email me, throw a rock through my window, send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. We need houses for sale really, really bad. Remember to support Central PA small business like Dr. Rox and head over some of those teas so you can relax. Also, use the promo code. And thanks for watching and listening. And say goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you, everybody. Now, if I can find the button.